Chosen one, this is not a message to hear halfway. This is not something to listen to while doing 3 other things. This is your sign to stop right now. Set everything down. Give God your full focus. This word was released for you personally, not for the room you're in, not for the people around you, not as background sound. Heaven interrupted your routine because what is about to be spoken requires your complete attention. If there is noise, remove it. If your thoughts are racing, settle them. If you cannot fully engage right now, save this and return when you can. This is a moment of divine alignment, not casual listening. Take a deep breath. Feel how heavy your chest has been, carrying things you never spoke about. Notice how your mind has stayed busy even when you tried to rest. Notice how your spirit has felt crowded, even in silence. That isn't a coincidence. That is spiritual pressure. And God brought you here to explain what has been happening beneath the surface. You were guided to hear this alone because some messages lose power when shared too soon. Certain truths are meant to land directly in your heart without being shaped by opinions, reactions, or distractions. Others may hear words, but you are receiving clarity. This is confirmation for your season. Lately, you felt separated, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You can be surrounded by people and still feel distant. Conversations happen, but they don't connect. You show up, yet something inside you feels elsewhere. And you've questioned yourself. You've wondered if you were withdrawing, changing too much, becoming cold or distant. But chosen one, this isn't you pushing people away. This is God drawing you closer to Him. What feels like isolation is actually protection. God has been covering you, removing noise, pulling you out of environments that could interfere with what He's developing within you. You are in a season of inner transformation. Your spirit is being strengthened, your discernment is being sharpened, your capacity is being expanded, and that kind of growth requires quiet. Some changes cannot happen while everyone has access to you. Some upgrades require separation. God didn't remove people to hurt you. He removed distractions to prepare you. And there is another reason this separation became necessary. There have been subtle tests around you. Words said that touched old wounds, conversations that seemed harmless but left you uneasy, questions that sounded casual but carried weight, moments where you walked away feeling unsettled without fully understanding why. Your spirit recognized what your mind couldn't immediately explain. Not every attack comes loudly. Not every challenge announces itself. Some come wrapped in smiles. Some come through concern. Some come through familiarity. But your discernment has been alerting you, and God has been watching. That's why He told you to step back. That's why He told you to be quiet. That's why He's been limiting access. Because reacting right now would reopen doors that are closing for your protection. You are entering a new level, and not everyone from your past seasons is meant to walk into your future ones. That isn't bitterness. That isn't pride. That is wisdom. Growth requires boundaries. The person you are becoming cannot be fully understood by those who only knew who you were. You may have noticed how certain conversations now drain you, how some environments feel heavy, how behaviors you once tolerated now disturb your peace, how drama no longer entertains you, how shallow connections no longer satisfy you. This isn't you becoming difficult. This is your spirit maturing. God has tuned your heart to a higher level of awareness. What once felt normal no longer aligns because you have outgrown it. Your tolerance has shifted because your purpose has expanded. You are being trained in discernment. You are learning when to speak and when silence protects you. You are learning when to stay and when to walk away without explanation. You are learning to trust what God reveals within you. And this wisdom is formed in quiet seasons, not in crowds, not in debates, not in over-explaining yourself. It grows in stillness. It strengthens in separation. It matures when you choose peace over reaction. Chosen one, God is not hiding you. He is preparing you. He is not removing people out of anger. He is repositioning you for elevation. He is not silencing your voice. He is teaching you timing. Everything happening right now is shaping the next chapter of your life. And when you emerge from this season, you will be clearer, stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever before. If this message speaks to your spirit, let me know in the comments. Share it with someone who needs encouragement, and stay connected to the chosen star, because God is building something powerful in you. Chosen one, the place you're standing in right now is not confusion. It is transition. You are in the middle between who you were and who God is shaping you to become. And this stage feels uncomfortable because the old no longer fits, but the new has not fully unfolded yet. You can sense the shift. Your desires are changing. Your tolerance is changing. Your priorities are changing. What once felt normal now feels heavy. What once satisfied now feels empty. That's because you were leaving one season while stepping into another. This stage can feel uncertain, exposed, even lonely at times, but it is also holy ground. This is where growth takes root. This is where strength is formed. This is where God prepares His chosen ones for greater purpose. Transformation never happens in comfort. It happens in surrender. It happens when God strips away what no longer serves the future He is building for you. What feels like loss is actually preparation. What feels like waiting is actually alignment. The enemy recognizes this season. He sees that God is elevating you. He sees the doors opening ahead. He sees the influence increasing. And while he cannot cancel what God has already spoken over your life, he will attempt to slow it down. His goal right now is reaction. He wants you distracted. He wants you emotionally drained. He wants you pulled into unnecessary conversations. He wants you defending yourself instead of trusting God to defend you. So situations keep appearing. Words keep being said. Triggers keep being touched. Moments keep arising that tempt you to speak when God asked you to remain still. Not because you were weak, but because reaction would interrupt alignment. Every test is designed to pull you out of peace. Every provocation is meant to break your focus. Every urge to explain yourself is meant to drain your energy. And if he succeeds in pulling you into emotional responses, he doesn't destroy your promise, he slows it. Delay is his strategy. That is why God keeps guiding you back into quiet. That is why he keeps guarding your peace. That is why he keeps reminding you not to respond to everything that reaches you. Because your calm is not surrender. Your quiet is not fear. Your restraint is not weakness. Your stillness is strength. Each time you choose peace over reaction, you gain ground. Each time you refuse unnecessary conflict, you advance. Each time you trust God instead of defending yourself, you move closer to breakthrough. Obedience in this season is accelerating your future. Now, let's talk about the heaviness you've been carrying inside. Because yes, you've been feeling it. You feel bad for stepping back from people. You feel bad for not being as available. You feel bad for protecting your time and energy. You feel bad when you don't explain your growth. You feel bad when others misunderstand you. And that weight makes you question yourself. Am I being selfish? Am I changing too much? Am I becoming distant? Am I wrong for choosing peace? Chosen one, hear this clearly. Growth always requires separation. Healing always requires boundaries. Purpose always requires focus. You are not wrong for protecting what God is building in you. You are not unkind for choosing peace. You are not cold for guarding your spirit. You are simply maturing. Some people only had access to earlier versions of you, not the one God is revealing now. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into every season. What feels like loss is actually alignment. What feels like distance is actually direction. What feels like silence is actually strength forming. God is leading you higher. God is preparing you deeper. God is positioning you for impact. And this season of stillness is not delaying your breakthrough. It is preparing you for it. If this resonates in your spirit, let me know in the comments. Share this with someone walking through transition, and stay connected to the chosen star, because God is doing something powerful in you right now. Chosen one, hear this clearly and without doubt. Setting boundaries is not betrayal. Stepping back is not rejection. Choosing peace is not cruelty. And protecting your spirit is not punishment. You are not called to manage how others feel about your obedience to God. You were not meant to shrink so others remain comfortable, and you are not required to explain spiritual growth to people who are not walking where God is leading you. Your first responsibility is to God, your calling, and the work He is building inside you, even when that means disappointing those who expected you to remain the same. And soon, very soon, clarity is coming. What has felt confusing will become obvious. What has been hidden will be revealed, and what your spirit sensed but could not fully explain will finally make sense. God is about to bring motives into the open, uncover intentions, and expose resistance that was masked as concern, jealousy that smiled, and control that pretended to care. Not because you confronted anyone or defended yourself, but because God saw everything and chose to handle it Himself. When that truth comes to light, you will understand why silence protected you, why stillness was necessary, and why speaking too soon would have only delayed what God was preparing. Because when God defends you, no one can twist the narrative, manipulate the truth, or argue with what is revealed. This is not about revenge. It is about freedom. It is not about hurting people. It is about bringing clarity. It is not about embarrassment. It is about discernment. So you will clearly know who belongs in your next season, which relationships to nurture, which ones to release, which voices to trust, and which ones to leave behind. Right now, your role is simple. Remain peaceful, stay aligned, resist reacting, release the need to explain, and trust God completely, trusting that He sees what you see, knows what you know, and is already working in ways you cannot yet observe. And while you are waiting, God is strengthening your foundation, expanding your capacity, sharpening your discernment, fortifying your boundaries, grounding your identity, and securing your peace, so that when blessings arrive, you can carry them with wisdom, and when challenges come, they will not shake you. This quiet season is not empty. It is overflowing with preparation, growth, and divine movement beneath the surface. And soon you will step into everything God has been building and look back with gratitude, realizing that what felt like isolation was actually preparation, what felt like delay was development, and what felt like silence was God positioning you for breakthrough. Chosen one, before this moment passes, understand this clearly. The person rising from this season will feel brand new, not to God who has always known your true identity, but to everyone around you, even to yourself, because you are stepping into a confidence that no longer searches for approval, a voice that no longer waits for permission, a focus that no longer needs to be explained, a love that no longer depends on being returned, and a purpose that no longer needs applause. And when people notice the change and ask what happened, you will struggle to put it into words because it was formed in quiet moments with God where no one else was present. And that is why this season has felt so private, so intense, so set apart. Because what God is building inside you is sacred and cannot be rushed or displayed too soon. So remain steady, remain surrendered, and trust that when the preparation is complete, God will release you with unstoppable momentum. And now let's talk about what you have been feeling in your body, because this spiritual shift has not only touched your spirit, it has reached your physical frame as well. The deep exhaustion that rest doesn't immediately fix, the heaviness that lingers even after sleep, the desire to withdraw and slow down even when nothing is technically wrong. And you have wondered if something is off, but your body is simply responding to the weight of transformation. Because when God is deepening you, sharpening discernment, and increasing spiritual authority, the natural body feels the strain of spiritual growth. Which is why rest is no longer optional in this season, and pushing the way you once did is no longer wise since your spirit is undergoing powerful recalibration. And along with the physical tiredness have come emotional waves that rise without warning, moments of peace followed by sudden tears, hope followed by unexplained heaviness, clarity followed by questioning, not triggered by events but by transition. And instead of fighting these moments, understand that they are signs of release and renewal, the old version of you making room for the new. Because growth involves letting go, transformation involves discomfort, and becoming who God designed requires shedding what no longer belongs. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. You are not losing yourself, you are being refined. And the pain you feel is not destruction, but delivery. As old identities fall away, unhealthy attachments loosen, and expectations you were never meant to carry are lifted. And though the process feels intense, it is not harming you. It is birthing the next level of who you are meant to become. Chosen one, I already know you've been having those intense dreams lately, the ones that feel more vivid than real life, the ones where you're searching for something you can't quite reach, trying to speak but no sound comes out, standing in places you recognize yet everything feels unfamiliar, watching people you know act distant or unrecognizable, waking up suddenly with your heart racing and your thoughts spinning. And you've brushed them off as stress or random thoughts from a tired mind, but they are far from random, because your inner world is processing what your natural mind hasn't fully caught up to yet. Your spirit is communicating the shift that's taking place beyond what your eyes can see. The searching reflects your soul reaching for the next level. The silence in your dreams reflects the season of restraint God has placed over you. The familiar spaces changing reflect how your perception is being upgraded, and the shifting relationships reflect how your connections are being repositioned as you grow. And none of it is accidental, because your dreams are revealing the transformation that is already in motion. And alongside the dreams, you've also been noticing those quiet confirmations you haven't really talked about. The repeated numbers that keep showing up, the clock catching your attention at certain moments, songs playing right when your heart needed reassurance, random conversations that speak directly to what you're walking through, messages that seem perfectly timed. And you've wondered if you were overthinking it or finding meaning where there is none, but you're not. God has been communicating in ways your spirit understands, reminding you that you are seen, guided, and still on the right path, placing subtle reminders all around you to show that nothing about this season is accidental, that heaven is actively involved in your process. And understand this clearly. This quiet season has an ending. It was never meant to last forever. It was assigned with purpose. And when the preparation reaches completion, you will sense the shift before you see it. Clarity will rise before circumstances change. And suddenly, movement will replace stillness as doors open without effort. Opportunities come looking for you. Connections return with new respect. Resources align naturally, and direction becomes obvious. Not because you forced anything, but because obedience met divine timing. And when that happens, momentum will feel effortless and accelerated. And when God releases your voice again, it will not carry the same energy it once did. Your words will land with authority. Your presence will change atmospheres. Your calm will command respect, because you did not go through this season to return the same. You entered needing affirmation, and you're leaving anchored. You entered reacting emotionally, and you're leaving moving with wisdom. You entered defending yourself, and you're leaving with discernment. You entered noisy, and you're leaving powerful. And there is a massive difference between noise and influence. Some people will immediately recognize the shift and be drawn to the peace, strength, and clarity you now carry, honoring your boundaries and valuing your insight. And those are the ones God has aligned for your next chapter. But others will feel uncomfortable because your growth exposes what they haven't dealt with, and they will try to pull you back into old versions of yourself, question your changes, test your boundaries, and label your growth as arrogance when it's really maturity. And when you refuse to shrink, they will grow frustrated and call you different like it's a problem, when in reality you simply evolved beyond what once limited you. And through all of this, God is training you to recognize who is meant to walk forward with you and who was only meant for the previous season.